You're waiting for it, aren't you? You're waiting for that spark, that sudden surge of energy, that cheap motivation that will finally make you get off the couch, drop your phone, and start the life you've always dreamed of. You call that motivation. I call it a leash held by the weakest and most cowardly version of yourself. You've been lied to. The comfort industry convinced you that you need to feel like it before you act. That inspiration is the engine. Lie. Inspiration is a fast-acting drug, and you're just another addict waiting for the next fix. While you wait for the right feeling, the world is moving. Your opportunities are rotting. The man you could have become, the giant that lives in your potential, is looking at you right now through the mirror, and he is disgusted. Stop being weak. If you clicked on this video, it wasn't by accident. It's because in the depths of your soul, you know that comfort is killing you. You know that the easy way has made your life unbeatably hard. Today, we won't talk about tips. We won't talk about productivity hacks for children. We will talk about the engineering of an unbreakable man. We will talk about the architecture of absolute discipline. If you want to keep being a slave to your impulses, close this video now. Go seek your immediate pleasure. But if you're ready to assassinate your weakness, pay attention. These are the 8 pillars of steel discipline. Inside your head, there is a lawyer. He is brilliant, talented, and mortally persuasive. I call him the negotiator. You know him well. He's the one who whispers at 6 a.m. It's raining, the asphalt is slippery, run tomorrow. He's the one who says during work, you've already produced a lot today, just 10 minutes of YouTube won't hurt. He uses logic like a knife. He doesn't say give up, he says postpone. He doesn't say be lazy. He says take care of your health, you need rest. This negotiator is not your ally. He is the executioner of your destiny. Every time you enter a negotiation table with him, you've already lost. A part of your future self dies right there, sacrificed on the altar of lukewarm comfort. The first step is the bloodiest. You must execute the negotiator, don't argue with him. You cannot win a debate against your own cowardice, because cowardice is the smartest part of a weak man's brain. It will always find a logical reason for you to remain mediocre. From this moment on, your mind is no longer a democracy. The time for voting on what you should do is over. Your life is now an internal military dictatorship. You are the commander. Your body is the soldier. And a soldier doesn't ask why or how I feel, when the order is already written in the protocol. When the alarm goes off, there is no debate. When the hard task appears, there is no discussion. Thinking is the territory where the negotiator lives. If you stop to consider your feelings, you have opened the gate for the enemy. Use the mind vacuum rule. Feel the hesitation? You have 3 seconds before the negotiator takes control. 1, 2, 3. If you haven't moved by 3, weakness has won. Physical movement is the only language cowardice doesn't speak. Movement annihilates negotiation. Why is it so easy to scroll the feed for 4 hours? But it feels like torture to read 4 pages of a dense book. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's a sabotaged biological engine. Your brain is the most complex machine in the universe, and you've turned it into a digital trash dump. Every notification, every refined sugar, every 15-second short video is a shot of cheap dopamine you didn't earn. You are flooding your receptors with what neuroscience calls effortless reward. The result: your dopamine baseline is so inflated that real work feels like starving. For a man who stuffs himself with chemical sweets, natural fruit has no taste. For a man addicted to digital chaos, silence feels like a death sentence. The second step requires you to voluntarily enter the desert. You must implement the boredom protocol. For the next 48 hours, you will declare a stimulus quarantine. No music while walking, no podcasts while driving, no screens while eating. The silence of your own mind will be your punishment and your cure. You think you're bored? Great. Boredom is the womb of greatness. It's in boredom that your real thoughts, your deepest plans, finally find room to breathe. Modern man is a biological puppet. He is manipulated by algorithms designed by engineers who see your attention as a harvest. They profit from your lack of focus. They become billionaires from your weakness. Reclaim command. Force yourself to sit in an empty room for 30 minutes, doing nothing. Just you and the vacuum. If you can't do that, you don't own yourself. You are a property rented by big tech. Flush your system. When you stop chasing artificial peaks, the piece of focused work becomes your greatest asset. Discipline is the art of doing the ordinary with perfection, without needing anyone to applaud you or a light to shine on your phone. Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest swordsman to ever walk the earth, the man who won 60 duels and never knew defeat, spoke of the void in his book of 5 rings. He wrote, "By knowing things that exist, you can know that which does not exist. That is the void. Most people train because they want an immediate result. They want defined abs for the summer. They want the luxury car to impress people they don't even like. They seek money to escape from themselves. That is what I call external discipline. It is fragile. It is pathetic. If the result doesn't come at the speed your ego desires, you give up. If the scale doesn't drop in a week, you go back to the donuts. If the business doesn't profit in the first month, you go back to your mediocre job. You are a slave to the outcome, a beggar for results. Musashi's void is the antithesis of that. It's training for the brutal pleasure of training. It's the realization that there is no finish line. There is only the path. The void is where your ego dies and your pure will takes command. The third step is to divorce yourself from the result. Discipline is not a means to an end. Discipline is the end. When you go to the gym, the weight on the bar is just a statistical detail. The only thing that matters to your soul is that you were in that room and executed what you promised, especially on the days when your body screamed for you to stop. When you work on your project at midnight, while the rest of the world sleeps or wastes life in bars, the future profit is just a bonus. The true high-value product being built is your iron character. It's the irrefutable proof that you are a man who is not broken by circumstances. Enter the void. Become the man who does what is hard not because it pays off financially, but because it's who he is by nature. A sword doesn't ask the blacksmith why it must be sharpened. It simply accepts the fire and the hammer. It seeks perfection in its own form. In the void, there is no fear, there is no doubt, and there is no negotiator. There is only silent and relentless execution. The fourth step is the most painful of all. It demands crime. It demands that you commit the murder of who you were to give birth to who you must be. Most of you use the language of losers. You say, I'm trying to stop smoking. I'm trying to wake up earlier. I'm trying to be more productive. As long as you are trying, you are keeping an emergency exit for your failure. Trying is the favorite word of cowards. It's an escape clause you give the negotiator so he can crawl back into your life. You must change your identity at the atomic level. You don't try to go to the gym. You are a man who never misses a workout. No matter if it's a holiday, your birthday, or if you're having a heart attack. You don't try to ignore the phone. You are a man who governs his own attention. You are the sovereign of your focus. This is the non-negotiable me protocol. When a commitment becomes part of your identity, it no longer requires willpower. Willpower is limited. Identity is infinite. Does an elite soldier try to follow orders? No. He fulfills them because he is a soldier. Failing the mission would be an attack on his very existence. Look at your life today. Your current habits are the exact mirror of who you believe you are. If you see yourself as a procrastinator, your brain will do everything to confirm that vision, because the brain seeks coherence. If you see yourself as a lazy guy who wants to change, you will remain the lazy guy. Kill your old self. He was a useful companion when you needed comfort and safety, but now he is a parasite draining your vigor. Change the story you tell yourself. Replace I will with I am. I am a man of my word. I am the master of my routine. Let the old you starve to death. Only then can the warrior finally breathe. Discipline is not a straight line. It's trench warfare. There will be days when you fail. Days when the negotiator wins a battle. Days when your old self rises from the grave and drags you back to the couch. Most people use failure as an excuse for total collapse. They say, since I ate a pizza, the day is lost. I might as well eat a cake. Since I missed the morning workout, I won't do anything else today. This is what psychology calls the what the hell effect. It is the final trap of the weak mind. The fifth step is the ritual of the abyss. When you fail, you don't lament. You don't apologize to yourself. You execute an immediate return. The moment you realize you've stepped off the path, you get back on it in the next second. Not the next hour. Not tomorrow. Now. If you failed the diet, the next meal must be the cleanest of your life. If you procrastinated for an hour, the next 5 minutes must be of absolute and brutal focus. Discipline is not being perfect. It's being relentless in course correction. The warrior is not the one who never falls. He is the one who makes the fall the impulse for the next strike. In the abyss, you don't find the end. You find your true grit. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, said, "Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness." The modern world suffers from a disease, the need for public validation. You feel the urgency to post every little progress. I went to the gym today. I'm reading this book. I started a new project. Do you know what you're doing? You're stealing the dopamine from the future. When you tell someone your plans, your brain receives a small dose of satisfaction, as if you've already accomplished the task. It's energy wasted in smoke. It's cheap motivation spent on applause from strangers who don't care about you. The sixth step is the silent strategy. Build in secret. Let others see only the results, never the effort. When you work in silence, the internal pressure increases. That pressure is your fuel. It's the steam that moves the gears of your execution. Don't seek applause for doing your homework. The lion doesn't warn the savannah that he's going to hunt. He just hunts. The monk doesn't preach about his meditation. He just meditates. Kill the need to be seen. True power is born in the shadow of silent discipline. The last step is the understanding that discipline is not a phase. It is an eternal siege. The world will never stop trying to seduce you. Comfort will never stop whispering. Distractions will never stop knocking on your door. You must build a final siege around your mind. It's not about what you do today. It's about what you are capable of sustaining for a decade. Mediocrity is resilient. It waits for you to lower your guard. It waits for you to have a good day to say, "You deserve a rest." But the man of steel knows there is no rest for one seeking mastery. The maintenance of your character is a tax that must be paid daily. It is a siege you maintain against your own entropy. Every hard decision, every no you say to easy pleasure, is one more stone in the wall of your internal fortress. Make your system so robust that temptation can't even enter. Make your execution so automatic that the effort transforms into identity. The final siege doesn't end until you take your last breath, and when that moment arrives, you won't feel regret. You will feel the sovereign peace of one who was the master of his own soul. The last pillar of this steel architecture is a visceral understanding of time. Most of you live as if you had 1,000 years ahead of you. You waste hours as if they were copper coins, not realizing that every second is in fact a piece of flesh that will never return to your body. Being weak is, above all, a supreme disrespect to your dying self. Every time you choose easy pleasure, you are signing a sentence of mediocrity for the man you should be tomorrow. Time is not money. Time is the very substance of your existence, and you are leaking this substance through every pore of your laziness. The sovereignty of time demands that you treat every hour as a battlefield. There are no idle moments. There is only the time when you are forging your will, and the time when you are allowing it to rot. If you are not the master of your schedule, you are a slave to someone else's plans. When you say, "I don't have time," what you are really saying is, "I am too weak to prioritize my destiny." You have the same time Musashi had to master the sword. You have the same time the Stoic emperors had to rule the world. The difference is not in the clock. It's in your lack of reverence for the sacred act of being alive. Assume sovereignty. Refuse to give your time to those who don't deserve it. Refuse to give your minutes to algorithms that hate you. Time is the furnace where character is tempered. Either you burn in it to become steel, or you are consumed by it until you turn into dust. You've heard the 8 steps. You've walked the path from the execution of the negotiator to the final sovereignty of your time. You felt the truth in every word I said, because it resonates in the part of you that still has a shred of honor, the part that still wants to be great before disappearing into the dust of history. But now comes the part where 99% of you will fail miserably. Knowledge without execution is the worst kind of entertainment. It's the entertainment that makes you feel smart while you remain a coward. If you finish this video, give a like out of habit, and go back to searching for the next motivational video to get a high of spiritual dopamine. You haven't learned anything. You are a disciplined tourist, spectator of other success. I'm not here to motivate you. Motivation is for children who need a candy to do their homework. I am here to give you a war protocol. If you don't plan to act in the next 5 minutes, I regret to inform you, you've already lost. This channel is not a comfort zone. It is a forge, and the forge's fire doesn't ask permission to burn what is impure. The modern world is saturated with weak, soft men dependent on external validation. Don't be another one. Your future self is screaming in the void, begging you to make a choice that makes him proud today. He is tired of paying the price for your cheap excuses, and your fear of suffering a bit for something worth it. Enough talk. Enough plans for tomorrow. Tomorrow is the graveyard of all great potentials. Later is the devil's language. There is only now. Close this window. Throw your phone into another room, or put it on airplane mode. Turn off notifications. Get away from this blue light that's frying your neurons. And do the work. That task that is weighing on your chest. That difficult conversation. That sweat you're avoiding. That silence you're afraid to face. Do it now. Not because you want to, but because it's who you decided to be. The negotiation has been executed. The negotiator is dead. The vacuum is yours. Sovereignty is yours. Show that you are not just another passing shadow in this world. Begin now.